What's up, guys? Alex here with a little update for you. The next Dex Versus episode is going to be number 100, so we wanted to do something special to celebrate the milestone. However, it's going to take us an extra week to produce it, so instead, I'm going to go ahead and share this week's episode of the Dex Podcast with you instead. Didn't know we had a weekly podcast? Now you do. Links in the description. But before we get started, I just wanted to make a couple of announcements. Firstly, as you know, we're partnered with Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions, an absolutely awesome concert of orchestrated and remixed Pokemon music. It's really great and everyone should check it out if they have the chance. Also, because of this partnership, we're able to offer an exclusive pre-sale link to anyone watching this video for the performance happening in London on December 20th, 2015. I literally cannot imagine a better Christmas time outing, so go find that link in the description as well. If you don't live in the UK, however, all is not lost, as there's performances coming up in Nashville, Tennessee on October 9th, Clearwater, Florida on December 3rd, and Orlando, Florida on December 4th. You can also grab the link for the Nashville show now down in the description below. And finally, I wanted to make sure you were all aware of a Kickstarter going on right now. It seems super cool. Italix is a designer and illustrator. He's from Peru, and he's been in love with Pokemon since the Game Boy days, and now he just wants to make this big, beautiful 18 by 24 limited edition poster. It's in his own, kind of really cute pixel art style as a tribute to the game. The poster's gonna be done super high quality, really nice paper and everything. And if you back it, you can get cool things like wallpapers, sticker packs, and even a chance to get this really awesome fine art print. As you can see, his art is very cute, like I said, and wonderful. And again, links to his work and the Kickstarter itself can be found in the description below. He's about fourth of the way there. It's only $2,000 he's asking for overall, so I think we can really make this happen if we get together and do this. Anyway, enjoy the podcast, and we'll see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 74th ever episode of the Dex Podcast. I'm Alex.
Oh, shoot. I was waiting for Jimmy, but
Jimmy's
not here.
on the podcast.
I'm Pokekels.
Hey, and I'm Brett. What up?
Brett is here. Brett is our pal. Let me tell you something about Brett. How are you doing, Brett?
Oh, I'm so good.
Tell the people your background real quick.
I play a lot of video games. The best way to describe it would probably be I lived on a street when I was growing up that didn't have a lot of kids on the street.
Yeah.
So my friends were all the digital friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. I guess what I'm doing is not taking responsibility for the fact that I live in a world of sloth and video games. I'm a victim.
Brett is a good friend of mine. I've known him for years. We do comedy together. All three of us actually are at the same theater on the same company. And Brett's actually going to be joining me for a new show on the Dex channel really
Hot
soon.
lunch sandwiches.
Yeah, it's going to be called Hot Lunch Sandwiches. We're going to be eating bad cafeteria food.
No.
It's going to be called Victory Road, and I will tell you more about that later, aka when the show comes out all of a sudden. But he's here today because I thought it'd be cool if you guys met him and heard about what his deal is.
Hey.
Experienced the Brett.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's this week's podcast. Jimmy's out. He's right here, though. He's editing the vlog that's going up yesterday.
Jimmy is seen but not heard.
Yeah,
Actually, for these guys, they don't even see him.
Yeah, he's getting into... he's going to get into
Invisibility.
that school that Buster Bluth got into.
The Milford
Yeah,
Academy?
the Milford Academy from Arrested Development.
Can always tell a Milford, man.
Yeah. But how was everybody's Pokemon week? Did you guys do anything Pokemon this week?
Oh, boy, did I.
Did you?
Just a lot of freaking out, but I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I
For
played
sure.
a lot of Shuffle. I'm doing pretty good. I am...
What level are you on?
You know what? Let me check right now.
Like number-wise, like ballpark.
Yeah. No, I think I might still be under 100, but I'm really close.
Under 100. I'm only on like 60.
Now, I haven't played this game, so I have no frame of reference.
It's like one of those match 3 type games, but it's not timed. And so
Move based. I'm on 91.
yeah, it's kind of like a puzzle. It's kind of like a puzzle game.
Do you get little daily rewards for progression and whatnot?
Yeah, and it's
Okay, so it's got you. It's got your soul.
It's got you. But it's
Cool.
like it'll be like, okay, beat this guy in this many moves, but like however many under you get, like boost your rating on the puzzle.
Oh, they have
Right.
pars? Cool.
And the better you do, the higher chance at the end when you throw your Pokeball at it that you catch the Pokemon. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, like so I'm on 91 and I've supered and caught everything except for 5 levels. So
So you
that's
move
what I'm
on
doing.
sometimes.
I do move on, but I usually go by area. Like so I'm on Sweet Strass right now, and I just have to finish supering everybody. But I've caught everybody.
Yeah. It also has like a stars system. Well, it's actually hearts, but it's like you have 5 plays before you have to wait.
Stars.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's pretty crazy. What have I been doing? I've been playing Alpha Sapphire. I'm getting ever farther, ever closer to my slow, casual 100% playthrough of the game that I'm doing all year. So that's good. And I've been playing a lot of VGC to prep for Victory Road.
Yeah, ditto. I've been on that showdown for a little bit.
Have you been learning the ins and outs? Do you have some insight?
Yeah, legendaries everywhere. They'll get you, which is fine. It's just, and that's something that we're probably going to talk about on the aforementioned program.
We talk about it all the time on here too, just about like because we just had the World Championships like pretty recently. So it's like what makes a strong meta? Like how do you that's the big question.
Well, I that's really hard to answer. I mean, different things are fun to different people.
That's true.
But ultimately, I think what most people can agree on is freshness. The meta has to shift to be healthy.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
And I don't know what the Pokemon meta is like right now, how often it shifts.
It just felt like it downshifted almost this time.
It did bad
The
from last year to
variety of
this year.
Pokemon in the top 8 was less by 10.
Oh no!
Yeah, it went
And
from
it's like 12 out of 700.
yeah, it went from like
20.
25 to 12 or something like that. It was pretty crazy.
That's too bad.
Yeah. But have you been doing anything else, Pokemon? Anyone? Anyone?
When I close my eyes, I see Bulbasaur.
That's good. Okay,
good.
great. Okay.
You should maybe think about why that could be happening.
You might have a problem with
Okay.
your eyes.
Or my eyes are better than yours.
Yeah, you got branded eyes.
One eye is grass type, the other is poison. Let's go.
Yeah, all right. Then let's jump into the news. Great.
And boy, what a news day it is.
Oh man. Okay, so last time we were on here, Jimmy was like, first of all, we were like, what if they announce something between now and the time this podcast goes live? Sure enough, 8 hours later, it's like a press conference, like the biggest press conference ever. But we're gonna save that for last. But I want to say that Jimmy said, he was like, what if it's not a main series game? Like, what if it's an evolution? What if it's something all new, something totally different that we don't even understand, with a new type of gameplay that becomes like another pillar of Pokemon? That would be cool.
And literally,
That's literally what
that's
it was.
freaking what
But
it is.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it later. The first
Jimmy,
thing,
will you 8 hours ago be like, what if Brett just had a sandwich? Thank you. Get on that.
Okay, so let's jump into this. So the TPCI, the Pokemon Company International, crushed it this week. There was so much official stuff, and we're going to talk a lot about it. We're going to talk about what we think about it a lot in the discussment. But let's just jump in. Korokoro, first thing. Korokoro leaked, and then it was later announced by the Pokemon Company that Zygarde will be heavily featured in the new anime season, which has been renamed Pokemon XYZ or Pokemon X, Y, and Z. That title alone is exciting because it kind of cements the phrase Pokemon Z into the official. To the
surprise of virtually nobody.
Right.
To me, it pretty much confirms that Pokemon Z is going to be coming.
Yeah, but to the surprise of pretty much everybody, multiple forms of Zygarde were officially revealed. That little green blobby boy is actually Zygarde. It's not anything besides Zygarde. It's Zygarde Core, which is like the brain of Zygarde. So that's the first thing. Zygarde cells look like the Zygarde Core, but there's a lot of them, and they aren't they don't have the mind behind them. So they're just more like, I don't even know, like drones or
They're
something.
little flat versions of the Zygarde Core, and they just kind of move around like worms, but they don't really think. And then it said on the official website that can these really be considered Pokemon? And so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Creepy.
But it says they're found scattered all over the region. Which
They can't use moves,
What?
and the Pokemon website's like they're scattered through the region.
That sounds like plot fodder for Pokemon Z.
What
Yeah.
region?
What region
is it?
Wait. What do you mean? What region is it?
Well,
Isn't
like,
it
if
obvious?
they're found scattered all over the region, but like we've never found any of them, like what region could they be scattered over? Kalos in the future,
I
as in
think
Pokemon
so.
Z.
I'm still pushing for this mini region with like 70 new species.
That would be great.
Alex,
What?
you say these things and they're so egregious, and I want to believe them.
No, we got a significantly less amount of species this
True.
time around than last
True.
time. And there's a guy in the game who's like, there's another region that's not Hoenn, that's not this. It's a whole new region that I'm from. Here's an artifact from that region. Here you go. That
In the
guy's in
game.
Pokemon X.
Does he name all the other regions?
He's
Does
like,
he
it's
rule
a
them
re-
out?
yeah.
Everyone?
Yeah.
He says it's like a region nobody's heard of.
He's like, it's a region you've never seen before.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he specifically also call out the one that the Eevee region, the one from the GameCube games? What's that place
No,
called?
he doesn't call it out.
The Ori region?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he does. But if it's the Ori region, fine.
Like
I'm
an
in.
Ori region, like designed for mainline games.
I'm in. I'm
Right,
in.
as long as it's a new place, is what you're
yeah,
saying.
yeah. And
That'd be the best.
70 new species.
If they gave us a new region, new land, some new species, would you think they would come up with some new gym leaders or no?
Probably like, yeah.
Couple.
Maybe like a small league like the Orange Islands.
That would be the best possible
What if
thing
it was
they could
just
do.
the Orange Islands?
Do it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, so check it out. So when the Zygarde core has gathered 10% of its cells, it turns into Zygarde 10% form, which looks like a Doberman and is like
So
really fast.
Snoop Dogg? Dope.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it. It has like a scarf on.
Yeah, he does.
Come on, Bizzle. I'm only 10 per sizzle.
I love this one. He's my favorite. He's perfect.
He's supposed to be really fast. Once you get 50%, that's the Zygarde that you know.
Okay.
That silent Zygarde that doesn't even have music in that empty ass cave
Snake
from Pokemon
Snake
X.
Zygarde?
Snake guard.
Yes. Blind.
Zygarde, do you want music for your battle fight?
No.
Well, usually people come.
No.
Okay.
No.
Good luck.
Goodbye.
So can we call them Blobguard, Zygarde Dog, and Snake Guard?
Zygarde dog is
And Gundard?
Gundarg?
Gundam Guard.
so okay. Wait. So when it
Zygarde.
Zaiju.
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 So look, when so it says once you get to 50%, that's the Zygarde we know. And then finally, when Zygarde faces a foe that it knows is too powerful, it unleashes Zygarde Perfect Form, which is it looks like a Gundam, and it's supposed to be stronger than Xerneas and Yveltal. And it seems like they like Power Ranger onto him.
A little bit, yeah, because he's got like this blue arm and this red arm.
It really looks like they like
Thing.
Power Ranger onto
Remind
his
me
arms.
again, is the blue or red elements, are they represented elsewhere in the Zygarde forms anywhere?
No.
So that blue and red is only on that last one.
I'm pretty sure it's Xerneas and Yveltal.
Oh my god! Wait, are you telling me that like Zygarde is the Dragon Zord?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think that's what there's. I think that's the vibe.
Oh my god, that's really cool. I didn't realize. All right.
So also revealed in that same leak is Ash Greninja.
Yo, what?
So it's going to be in the anime. It said Ash Greninja is a form that Ash's Greninja takes when their bond reaches its highest point, and the Greninja takes on some of Ash's features.
What?
It is stated that this transformation is said to have happened only once before, several hundred years ago, in the Kalos region.
Oh, so the Floette.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
that's
that's
the,
exactly what I think they're referring to. It seems to be related but not equal to Mega Evolution, because Mega Evolution also is said to come from a bond between the person and the Pokemon.
But usually the Pokemon doesn't take on any features of the human, so that's a weird thing.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Do you think that
wonder
they'll
if
bring
that's
back character customization and like if you
I wouldn't like it all that much. I hope that it's just like a one-off thing for like Ash that's like special, because
Why?
I don't
Why?
want my Pokemon to look like me. They're their own thing.
it's pretty funny.
But did you not enjoy dressing your Pokemon up or anything?
No.
Fair enough. I was
I mean, like I know
checking
you could in Heart Gold and Soul Silver in that picture thing, but like who needs that?
So
That's not
when
what the
it
game is.
came to like Lumiose and like, oh, make them look pretty, you're like, I'm all right. I'd rather.
I would make myself look pretty, and then like my Pokemon, they're just themselves.
It would be funny
All right.
to like make it something that's like perfect. Like if you got like a Snivy that looked like you and was you, then you'd have like
Well, that's
this-
because Kel's
Like
is
Sparky
Snivy.
from the original Pokemon anime.
Yeah, exactly. Like Sparky the Pikachu. It would be like the best meme of all time. It would be so funny. But yeah, that's it. Now, the news you've all been waiting for. New Pokemon 3DS themes in the eShop.
Yay! Guys, we did it! We
That's like kind of like the song from Riddler's Revenge at Six Flags.
Oh, God.
Okay. The Pikachu dance theme is coming to Europe and probably the US on September 18th. So that might be out today for you since you're listening to this today, the 18th, hopefully. We're recording it on the 15th or 16th. What day is it?
Who would know? I don't know.
Wednesday.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
It's the
Might be
16th.
out. But not only that, it's going to be a whole new theme that's also going to be out called the Pokemon 151 Mewtwo theme. It's very tight. It's got like a coat of arms with Mewtwo on it as a shield bearer. It's very stylized. I saw this. It's very cool.
It is so cool.
This might be the one that gets me to change my theme from the Boo theme finally.
But how could you?
How could I do it? How would I do it?
You are the Boo.
How do I do it? How could I do it?
How could one Boo?
If you were to do that, how?
How?
There's
you,
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
There's the cameo that we all deserve.
Cameo.
The cameo.
All the Jimmy
I'm
fans
out.
were just like,
Yeah, I really like that theme. It looks really dang cool. There's also one more theme that's only been announced for Japan so far that features artwork from the Pokemon TCG Break series with Mewtwo X fighting Mewtwo Y and their golden counterparts on the lower screen. What are their golden counterparts?
It's like a mechanic of the break thing in the TCG that we talked about like a little bit last time. There's
with
just
the
like these
gold?
cards that have like Pokemon that are just like totally gold.
Cool.
I don't know. I don't know what they mean. I don't know what they do.
they're Super Saiyan. Let
Yeah.
them do it.
It's probably something like that. I can't wait for these cards to come out in English so I
Yeah,
can
they're
see
gonna
what
be
the
so
deal is.
pretty.
So that's most of the news. But finally, there was a surprise press conference last week on Wednesday night. It was crazy. It was insane. It was the announcement of a thing called Pokemon Go. I'm sure you've heard of it if you're big in the Pokemon news. It's a new Pokemon game for iPhone and Android that's coming in 2016. And that sounds very icky if I don't give you any more information. But what I will say is that Pokemon Go is an augmented reality style game that puts Pokemon in the real world for you to find and catch and battle with and trade. And it has been in development by the Pokemon company themselves, Nintendo, and Niantic, which is a studio that spun out of Google that made a currently operating phone-based MMO game called Ingress. And a lot of people are speculating that the April Fool's like Google catch all the Pokemon thing last year was kind of like a field test for Pokemon Go. And
They use some like similar assets actually.
yeah,
You go back
Kelly
and
was
watch.
Kelly was
forgot
tweeting
about
this out
that.
earlier today in the old trailer. The Pokemon Go Plus, like the little wearable device that you can probably pay for that has like that vibrates, has like light Bluetooth functionality, low power that like vibrates when a Pokemon's nearby, so you don't have to like look at your phone the whole time you're walking around. It's gonna be great. The app's gonna be free to play. It's gonna have in-app purchases though. And at the press conference, we had Sunezaku Ishihara, who's the president and CEO of the Pokemon Company. So that's one big fish. Junichi Masuda, the game director of like all current Pokemon games, as well as the composer of like all the classic songs, was there. So that's another big fish. John Hankey, the founder of Niantic, is another big fish. And the other big fish, which blew me away, that he was there, was Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah.
The senior managing director of Nintendo, also inventor of freaking Mario and Zelda.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, him. They all spoke about it together. It's something they're all super excited about. It's about bringing Pokemon, the experience of being a Pokemon trainer, into the real world. The focus is on getting out and exploring the world, and people said a lot of stuff about it being like Pokemon Snap in a way of like going into the world of Pokemon and looking around and like exploring the way that they live and do things. And Kelly pretty much turned into a blubbering mess.
I cry thinking about it still.
Wait, did you really cry?
Oh, duh.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Don't you
that's
know
so
who I
cute.
am?
I know what you are, but like, the announcement video made you cry?
You know, well, there was that,
It was
and
the
then there
Mewtwo
was
part,
the fact
wasn't
that
it?
like Masuda, who like is the head honcho of Pokemon,
Yeah.
was like saying things like, "Finally, Pokemon will be in the real world. Like, finally, your friends will be with you." And I was
So
just like,
you-
it just
it
like
just got
touched
you.
me. It just was like
If we
all these things
linger-
that I've wished for, and it
Oh
just
my
touched me.
God.
If we linger on this point for a moment longer, I think we could probably get her to cry that.
You could.
Maybe at the end of the show. Maybe at the end of the show.
In the so I mentioned this a little bit. The Pokemon Go Plus is a little. It can be like a pin thing that like sits on your pocket, or it can be like a wristband thing that's like a kind of like watch sized, and that's like a thing that's gonna be part of it. It like the center of the Pokeball, like like changes colors when there's Pokemon and it vibrates like an Apple Watch. Ooh, sorry.
And it's meant so you don't have to just like walk around with your phone out, staring at your phone, like
Right.
looking for Pokemon.
You can look
You can
like,
just, like, walk
kind of a
around
weirdo
normally.
as opposed to a full weirdo.
Yeah.
Great.
You can talk to your friends who you're inevitably with, hopefully.
Right. That's really cool. I didn't know about all that functionality.
It's really tight. So in the trailer, it shows finding wild Pokemon just like out in real life, catching them, trading them between phones, single battles, a triple battle, and even a public legendary event that had like Mewtwo. So it was like Times Square, and it was like a raid style like event, like almost like if you've ever watched how a raid happens in Final Fantasy 14, or like those public events where it's just like a million people like fighting a boss together.
right.
That's like what it
looked
was. So cool.
And granted, all the stuff was like conceptual, but like the idea that that's where they're at with this, that like there's gonna be like events and like droves of people are gonna show up to like do this, like catch this real Pokemon, and
a
then
great
everybody's
idea.
gonna have it together.
It's
It's
so good.
It's money.
Can I tell you what I'm worried about?
What?
I'll tell you what I'm most excited about first.
Well, wait. We're gonna bleed into the discussment, right?
Yeah,
Oh, my
this-
bad, my bad, my
Yeah,
bad.
this pretty much like takes us into our discussment section, which like is just gonna be all about Pokemon Go. We're gonna talk about the reception of Pokemon Go, the way that other people are responding to it, what we expect, some pipe dreams, whatever we want.
All
things
that snap.
things that worry us. So what worries you?
What worries me is that somehow the functionality of this new game is going to be mechanically less diverse or less deep than what we're used to with the mainline series. I think it's a safe bet that it will be, because, you know, this is going to be aimed at a lot more people who aren't as familiar with the series as we are. It's going to have to be a bit more accessible and time friendly. Like, you're on your phone, you're on the go, supposedly. Like, got to make it streamlined. So what I'm hoping is that, like, Pokemon still have strengths and weaknesses by type. Pokemon still have all these different moves. That the battle system is still just as rich as we all like it to be. That's what I'm worried about that it won't.
They haven't made any specific promises about this, but what they have made clear is that the idea here is to translate the experience of the game into the real world. And I think that as long as they keep the catching separate, like if they handle catching Pokemon differently, I wouldn't be so against that. Do you know what I mean? Just because it's like has to do with like going out and like seeing stuff.
That should absolutely be different.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of like, I don't think I need to like wheel out my guy, paralyze this dude, knock his health down.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
I
catching should be different for sure.
Yeah, but I think that if they keep the catching and that if the catching is different, I think it's viable. I think it's possible to think that the battling will be pretty much intact, just because they're separate. Like if you are like a casual player and you just want to like catch them all,
Yeah.
I think that as long as this game like makes that possible, making the battling a little bit more hardcore is probably fine. And I mean, looking at Ingress, like Ingress is pretty neat. Like it has like a pretty neat system to it, if that makes sense. Like it's pretty like involved, and I haven't played a lot of it just because I'm very busy and it's not Pokemon. But when I finally have a second, maybe like this weekend, I'll just like play Ingress for a couple hours outside. I'm just gonna go out by myself, slap on some headphones, and just go see what the deal is.
That's what I'm most excited about. I really hope that there are a slew of Pokemon that us in this room can't get in this country.
I think that's very much the case.
I hope that we can't get like Diglett. Diglett only exists in like Eurasia.
Yeah,
And
Azerbaijan. Yeah.
you just gotta like know somebody over there to trade you via wireless, or it's gotta be like, dude, let's go to the airport and just sit in the middle of the terminal
and just be like, hey,
and be like, yo, I got them Pokemon, and wait and see all the foreigners.
No one's gonna be like, sir, please leave this airport.
But first, trade me real quick. You know what I mean? That would be cool.
yeah, it looks awesome. So we have like a list of like little discussion topics that we can like bust through here real quick. Bam, 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 bam. So what was the best part of the press conference? Did you see the press conference?
I didn't see the press conference.
What do you think the best part of the press conference was?
My favorite part of the press conference was when Miyamoto was like, Oh, this game really reminds me of when I worked with Masuda on Snap, Pokemon Snap. Just, being out there and the Pokemon are like right next to you and experiencing how they would interact, and like him specifically mentioning Snap and he was talking to, who was he talking to at the time? He was not talking to Masuda, he was talking to CEO.
Ishihara, yeah.
And he and they like agreed that it was very, very reminiscent of Pokemon Snap, and like because that's like my ideal way of experiencing Pokemon, like that was my favorite part. I was like, they mentioned it, that's like part of this vision. I'm in.
Is that when you cried?
Totally down.
Did you cry right there?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite moment was when it changed from being a like go out in the world and collect, like go stand in a bunch of areas and collect Pokemon, to like it was like part of the trailer. It was like, okay, like here's what it is, and it's like, oh no, there's also like battling and trading, and you're like gonna go play with your friends outside, and like your dad is gonna help you catch this if you're a kid and stuff, and like the kid can wear the thing and the dad can have the phone, like that kind of dynamic. Like the idea that it's more than just like a dumb like, oh look, I stood by this boat and I got Magikarp, yes.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they're like going hard with this and like doing like a really futuristic attempt at like making this like something real and like deep and awesome is like, that was my favorite moment
For
of the press
sure.
conference.
Huge.
The moment when you realize like, oh, everyone in Times Square is going to help take down Mewtwo is very cool.
Oh my
And even though
God.
that's a huge just pipe dream, it's a fantasy. Like
Yeah.
that's not gonna happen. But the idea that you could be in a public space and
I mean,
Pokeball,
him being on the screens and stuff, I'd say is fantasy, but I don't see why it couldn't be in Times Square.
of course. But what I'm saying is, you're not gonna get 200 people to all be like, Ingress,
I don't know, man.
Ingress is having events with thousands of people.
What?
And it's Ingress. It's not Pokemon.
What?
Think about it.
I didn't know that. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not about that life. I'm not
I
about
know.
Ingress right now.
I feel you. I have it on my phone. That's all. It's the best I've done. I have there's nothing else to it at this point.
I just think there's going to be like, I'm really hoping that there are moments like that where there's a big public event. This dude is hard, and like one dude comes out of the shadows and he just swipes his phone, and all of a sudden there's a Dragonite in the battle now.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be really cool. Be like, that dude has a Dragonite, fantastic,
Yeah, that's what I want it to be hard to get the Pokemon. I don't want it to be like 2 days later, someone's like, done.
Right.
I want it to be like a slug. I want them to have value and for it to be like, not just like, yeah, come to this one statue and there's always a Diggersby here. I want it to be like, oh, like this is an area where Diggersby live. This like 200-mile, radius. You might run into a Diggersby here. Like that's where I'm at with it.
The only augmented reality game I've ever played was called, what was it called? Code Runner?
Oh yeah, Code Runner.
And that was cool because it wasn't really, it like randomly, this is what I think that Pokemon Go will be like. It randomly generated like hot points, and you were like a spy and you had to like pretend to like drop off the papers or whatever at this like hot point that would come up, and it would just be like a street corner, like any street corner. Like it was just based on like how close you were to something around. And I really think that's how Pokemon Go is going to be, to like avoid people having to be like, I have to go all the way across town for this Pokemon. Instead, it's just like, there is a set number of Pokemon that live in your area, and you're by this store right now, and oh look, there's a park, so we're gonna generate a Pokemon there, and we don't know which one it's gonna be.
Got it.
I think it'll be probably something like that.
So wherever you are, they'll pick a location that's around you.
Yeah, and then that would be more conducive to the fact that a lot of people are like, oh, but I live in 3-person town, they're gonna forget about me. But I don't think that people should really be worried about that, because we're so far beyond that in technology
Speaking of which,
I can't wait to hear stories about like tragedy today as a small 15-year-old boy wanders into a crack den
looking for Swirlix.
looking for Swirlix. When questioned, all he said was, I had to get Swirlix.
that's like the joke. So what is your perspective on Pokemon Go's public reaction so far? What do you think about it? I feel like a lot of people are excited about it, and I feel like it's been great to see people who like the problem that I've run into with like my like peers that I like see every day who maybe aren't gamers, but like are like, especially since like most people who are my friend kind of like know the deal with like the decks and like what I do for a living and stuff like that. And so a lot of the time people talk to me about Pokemon like, oh man, like I would love to play Pokemon again, but like I'm not gonna like buy a 3DS just to play Pokemon. The idea that everybody has a phone and that like, you know, people who love Pokemon but who haven't played a game in a long time and who are like, you know, games are for people who want to sit inside and be losers all day or whatever. Like the fact that those people are gonna be playing Pokemon and like getting to like run around outside and stuff. That like it could be a part of everyone's life is very exciting to me.
That's exactly what I've been seeing. The cool thing that I've encountered was is that I work here, but then I also work in a place where like my coworkers are not like huge gamers or anything. And so when I brought the news of Pokemon Go like to my office, everyone started like buzzing about it. Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, I love those games. I haven't thought about playing a Pokemon game in so many years, but like, oh, I would totally do that. There's like a Caterpie in my backyard. Oh, I'll totally get down on that." And like now my coworkers and I are all joking about how we're gonna like go out in a trainer team together and like find the Pokemon in like, the city block
right
around our work. And it's really cool because I see a lot of people that are like, they like Pokemon, but like I feel like it's gonna bring in a lot of people that used to just love the game and now have a new avenue for that.
It's a good point.
It's pretty cool too, just based on where you guys are located. That like you might run into some pretty cool guys. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, yeah, I mean I'm just agreeing with you guys. They're bringing Pokemon to a potential audience that refused to go to the Pokemon before.
Right.
They're like,
there's
okay,
like a
we'll come
big
to
barrier.
you.
Yeah. There's a cost barrier.
It could,
and a social barrier.
Huge. It could be really huge.
Yeah. Oh man, like the idea of how huge it could be is staggering to me.
I agree
because of
with
how
that.
effortlessly people will be able to play it.
At the very least, this explains why we haven't had Pokemon Snap for Wii U.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Not that I still don't want it.
So
Right.
On the flip side of this though is that there's a lot of people who are already like have a lot of complaints about the game.
What?
It's crazy.
People saying like, I don't have a phone, I don't have money, I'm somewhere that is definitely going to be forgotten by this game.
That's like saying Pokemon X and Y are coming out, but I don't have a 3DS. It's like, go get one.
Yeah, like I don't know, like if you want to play the game, like
Get the hardware.
That's not like, what do you want it to be? Is like they want them to mail you a phone? So
I mean, the unfortunate thing about gaming and the life is that no company can satisfy literally everyone who wants to enjoy their product.
Fair.
And I know it sounds harsh to say life isn't fair, but like, you know what? Sometimes like nobody knew that this was going to happen, so it's not like you deserve
you weren't owed
this.
You weren't owed this.
This is like
it's
a
luxury.
bonus that is like not even part of the main series games, which are still going to be happening. It's just like this new thing, and so it just doesn't make any sense to like poo-poo it until like we have more information on it.
I still haven't heard a good argument. Wait, you said like I don't have a phone, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, and you want to know what else? Actually, Ingress. I was like, because Ishihara, the CEO of Pokemon Company, this guy is like a high-level player of Ingress, which is like what happened. He like got into it, and it like proved to him that Niantic was the way to go. The word on the street is that if you live in a sparsely populated area, you actually have a big advantage in Ingress.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the game, so I can't speak to like what exactly that advantage is, but like that's the word on the street. And so if you're considering that this is not based on like being close to cities, it's based on like being able to be outside or like go places with people
And explore.
Like everyone can do that. Even if you're by yourself in a farm 50 miles from everyone, it's still, you're on the earth. And the whole idea is that there's Pokemon everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I get the complaints. Like some people are worried like this product doesn't seem catered to me. But that's ultimately what they're saying.
That doesn't matter,
And
yeah.
Exactly. And when you say it out loud, you realize how ridiculous it sounds because it's like, dude, there's tons of other products. Like not every product is going to cater to you. And we don't even know what the product is going to be like at this point.
Yeah.
I
and
tweeted about it today.
just because something's not convenient for you to pick up and start immediately does not mean that like you deserve it in some way.
Or that you got slighted.
Yeah.
You're not owed anything. You're not owed anything. And if you try it, and it still doesn't work for you, guess what? There's
Don't play it.
tons of
Yeah,
other stuff
don't do
out
something
there.
else.
And then another thing people are really upset about is microtransactions. But like, if you know anything about business at all, and this game is as big as it seems to be, then like, how do you expect it to continue or like have any sort of like staying power if no money is going into this huge game?
People don't even have to work. People don't even have to work anymore to come up with the things that upset them about games. They're taught to like say like microtransactions. Ugh. They're taught to say like, oh my god,
Microtransactions are not inherently a bad
this
thing.
game is unfinished. Oh, there's DLC on the disc.
Right.
Like, ooh, like,
Don't get me started, man.
dude.
But ultimately, anybody that's like, if a fighting game comes out for a week and someone's like, here is my tier list, you immediately don't listen to that person. Just like after this announcement happened, if someone's already like, here's why the game will be bad, you just immediately close the window, the browser.
You mute that person.
Yeah. No.
What do you guys think of the Pokemon Go Plus? Obviously, it seems like. Have you guys ever used like Square? You know what
Yeah.
Square is?
No.
Like,
Yeah.
What is that?
You plug it into your phone
you
and
see
you
it
can
at
swipe
like
a
food
credit card
trucks
on
and
it.
stuff. Sometimes they use it to charge your card. It's like looks like this.
Oh, that little, you plug it in.
I'm holding one in my hand to illustrate this to the people in the room, but it's basically like a little kind of like
little credit
doodad
card
that clicks
swiper.
into your phone.
Okay,
and,
so what are they going to do with that for Go?
well, so they haven't really talked about exactly how it works. But the way that Square did it was I didn't even have to. I basically just signed up for the app, and I got this sent to me. Because it's like a payment-based thing, so they figure like we send these out, it's going to pay for itself. It seems to be cheap. I mean, granted, this device is not Bluetooth, so it's going to be a little bit cheaper. But another thing that people were doing is like going to the store and buying this device, the Square device, and then getting credit on their account of the cost of the device. So I don't know if it's going to be something that they want everybody to have, or if it's going to be sort of like a barrier.
Well, it seems like an optional accessory because it is called the Pokemon Go Plus, and so usually something's
Right.
not plus unless it's like additional.
Well, unless you don't want to wear a Pokemon bracelet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
What
that.
do it do?
You can put- okay.
Aside from there's a Poliwag next to you, bruh.
Right now, the only information we know about it is that you can either get it in wristband or clip form, and that it vibrates and has lights depending, and it will help you find Pokemon so that you can put your phone away and explore the world, and it will tell you when a Pokemon is near, so then you can
take your
So
phone.
Get
that's
your
it.
phone out.
That's the one function.
That's what we know. That's
about
the only
it.
thing that's been revealed.
That's what we
so
know
far.
about it right now. It vibrates and it has lights.
All right.
But what I if I'm speculating, I think it's probably going to have a heftier price tag on it. I think maybe like, somewhere in the neighborhood of like a downloadable game price. And I think that what it's going to be is not just the device, but also it's going to unlock some stuff. I think like features-based stuff in the game for like harder core players. Maybe like more boxes of, you know what I mean? Like more.
Do you think that there's any way that they'd implement something where like I have Pokemon Go on my phone, I'm walking by an area, my phone vibrates, I pick it up, there's a Abra here.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be. I'm sure that that's going to be in the mix.
Okay.
But I think that like the thing about this Pokemon Go Plus is that like not it serves two functions in my mind. Number one, like just in terms of the game mechanics, yes, it tells you like where Pokemon are, so you don't have to like walk around with your face at your phone. But also it's sort of like a down low sort of like code, right? Like you see somebody and you automatically know like that's a Pokemon guy. Do you know what I
walk
mean?
up to him and it's like, Hail Hydra.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I think that like part of it is like I think that's part of the benefit, and I think that if they're going to charge money for it, I think that it's probably going to come with some in-game benefits.
Yeah, you're
I
probably
think
right.
so. Yeah.
And I have no problem with that. I think that's great. I think that's a great model. It's like optional, and I think a lot of people are going to go for it, and I think that's fine.
Yeah.
If somebody can convince you to pay for something, great, good on them. You know what I mean? As long as it's not a trick. But I don't.
Hey.
It doesn't seem like it's going to be a trick.
Hey, this is a bag of rocks.
Do you think that this is going to replace the main series or interact with the main series in any way?
If it did, that wouldn't be for many, many, many iterations of both.
If it
Yeah.
replaced it, there would have to be like some sort of narrative element to it, and some
It's
sort
like
of.
way too bold to replace the main series games, which sell
I don't think there's
better
like.
and better
I don't think
every
we
time.
already saw the last main series game, and that this is now going to replace it. I don't
yeah,
think
no
no.
way. We're gonna get a Gen 7. We're good to go.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Will it interact? Maybe.
Absolutely.
If
Oh yeah, that would be great.
if everything is intact, it could just be perfectly compatible with Pokemon Bank.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That'd be nice.
If like the battle system is unchanged from the games, like maybe the microtransactions will be like TMs. And maybe you can like find TMs if you're like lucky, or you like find some type of, maybe you collect some type of material or experience that's like some kind of currency, and you can buy them, or you can just buy them with money. That would be a fine way to do microtransactions, I think.
Possibilities are endless.
Yeah. I think if it does interact with the main series games, I think it's going to be a situation with Pokemon Bank. And it will probably be like one way. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to just like, all right, here's my Darkrai. Like, let's go.
Right.
I think it's going to probably be like, oh, if you want to put this in your game, you can't get it back kind of thing. I think that's what they would do.
I'm down with that.
But that, again, total speculation. What do you expect from the app in terms of functionality, scope of Pokemon, ease of use? What do we think? What do we realistically think is going to happen? Do we think it's going to be like some kind of, like ideally for me, I would want it to be like a changed capture mechanic with a pretty solid similar battle mechanic built in. That's like pretty easy to like do like location based and also online battles.
Well, in the trailer, what was cool was that it showed like a Snorlax on a bridge, and then it showed like this girl, and then she like throws out her Gyarados, and then like a blip comes up on somebody's phone that says, "Your Snorlax is under attack," and then like he's like, "Oh shit." Excuse me. And then they start battling, and I feel like that would be pretty cool if it like notifies you if there's like trainers around you, so that you can be like, "Hey, you want to battle?" Like I think that would be really cool. It almost like a street pass mechanism, but like for
Like
iPhones.
locking eyes in real life.
Yeah, right. And I don't know. What do you think about like Pokemon? Do you think they're gonna have more than just the original 150? Or
I would like to assume that they're gonna just do all of them.
I
But
feel
the
like-
fact that they showed only original Pokemon in the trailer makes me a little
I
uneasy.
did not notice that.
Maybe they're gonna roll it out like in waves, as like, since it's like MMO model, maybe it'll be like expansion
I
based.
feel like there's gonna be more, just because like the weird thing that I have about like Gen 1ing and stuff. The weird thing is that like a lot is something that I realized recently that I've talked about on this podcast before, is that a lot of the people that play Pokemon have actually not played Gen 1 now because they were not born when it was out.
150 also doesn't seem like enough for like an entire Earth worth of.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be much more broad in its scope,
Right.
and I think there's going to be Pokemon from all generations, and that you're going to be able to just like
I'm tempted to.
kind of figure it out.
I'm inclined to agree with you there.
You think
Yeah,
you're going to have?
undoubtedly, the only reason they only showed Gen 1 in the commercial is because I think they know who their
Mass
audience
appeal.
is.
Yeah.
It was like Snorlax, Pikachu, Mewtwo.
Like the big ones, the ones
Yeah.
that everybody knows about. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that you're going to get like a starter?
I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
You
I think so.
have to.
You have to get a starter. You've got
Question
it.
is, which ones will they be?
What if it's all? What if it's
I
every-
know.
what if
Maybe
it's
it'll
every
depend.
choice?
What is every starter ever?
Yeah.
Then Bulbasaur. Easy.
What if it's only Gen 1?
Then Bulbasaur.
What if it's Gen 1 and Gen 2?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Bulbasaur for 200, Alex.
It works even better because my actual name is Alex. So what's the ideal? What's your ideal version of this app?
My ideal version of this app is that I hope that it's like very interactive, and that there are some AR elements that I can like put my phone up and like see the world around me and the Pokemon like standing there.
I think
really
that's
would love that.
guaranteed. What you just said, I think, is like in the bag.
Yeah, that exists
That's
already in
all
other
that I
apps.
need. That's all that I want.
I want a battle system that is just as rich.
I want
That's what I'm hoping
the
for.
same exact battle system so that it works. I want it to be compatible with the games.
Yeah, what I don't want is to be like, cool, I collect all these Pokemon. It's like, hey, want to battle? And I'm like,
No, that's
can we do it
lame.
on 3DS
Yeah,
instead?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, like no, that's lame.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I hope there's going to be functionality that will allow you to take pictures with your Pokemon.
Oh, that'd
I
be
think
great.
that's gonna
Like
happen.
me standing next to my Nidoking being like,
That'd be
My
really
buddy.
cool.
I want like I want just there to be like robust online, like laying on my bed, battling, trading stuff.
Oh, so like
like
when
kind
you're
of like
not
a phone
outside-
version of the GTS.
Yeah,
Right.
like I want that to be like I go outside to get my Pokemon and to like gain experience and like get items and stuff, but I want to like when I'm home and it's the middle of the night or I'm on the toilet or I'm on a, bus or whatever I'm doing.
How often do you ride the bus,
Okay, a
Alex?
train, fine.
Have you ever ridden a bus?
I've ridden a bus. I've ridden a bus. I used to ride the bus to school every day.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm just saying, like, I would love it for it to be like,
Yeah, to have a lot of functionality even though you're not in the environment.
right. Not that I want it to like eclipse that or be able to play without going outside because that would defeat the purpose. But
Yeah,
I just
you should
want there
definitely be able to at 3 a.m. be like, I want to play.
I want to like
this
go up.
game.
I want to like ladder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I would love that. So that's it for this week's discussment. I think unless there's anything else really that we want to say about this, I think we've kind of like covered the gamut, if you will. So for you guys out there in listener land, write to us. Let us know what your thoughts are on Pokemon Go, and you can send those into thedexcast@gmail.com. Again, that's THEDEXCAST@gmail.com, and we'll read them on the air next week in next week's, just like this week's, Fancers segment.
Fancers, da 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 da. Fancers, da 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 da.
Great.
Good segue, man.
Heck yeah, man. I crushed that.
You did.
So if you are new to the show, the Fancers segment is the part of the show where we dip into our fan mail and we read some letters from y'all. So let's do it. Let's jump in. Let's find some emails. That one was
Scrooge
too long.
McDuck it into this giant vat of emails.
Yeah.
Email coins.
So this one is from the Lore Seeker. The email heading is Pikachu, a lasting influence. Last week, if you know, we talked about whether Pokemon would be the same today or enjoy the same level of success if Clefairy had replaced Pikachu. Originally, Clefairy was going to be the main character of the show and stuff. Would the franchise be the same if Clefairy was there instead?
Okay.
So he says, "Greetings, Dexians. I was listening to podcast 73 while writing up my well-thought-out question about gym leaders in the Elite Four, and your discussion on Pikachu versus Clefairy sparked another topic that derailed my train of thought, and I just needed to write in about it. Do you think that the popularity of Pikachu over Raichu influenced why all the Pikachu clones of later generations don't have evolutions? It sounds likely to me. Also, do you think an evolved Pachirisu Emolga Dedenne would be worth seeing in the future? Sincerely, the Lore Seeker. P.S. Stay tuned in the future for that email on gym leaders and Elite Four members having day jobs that I mentioned.
Great.
I'm still working out how I want to approach the topic."
Wow. He was like, also, watch out because I'm coming back.
I don't know. I think that the Pikachu clones aren't really like, I don't know. Like, I don't get the sense that they're like, all right, let's see if we can make another Pikachu, boys. I think it's just more of like a, echoing kind of thing, like speciation
But
kind
I do
of.
think it's possible that like because Pikachu is like its own like thing that they made like the other ones that kind of like have that same vibe, not have evolutions, just to keep it more simple. I don't know. I
agree.
think it's possible.
But they added a pre-evolution to Pikachu even.
I know.
Yeah, but that was before. I mean, that was just Gen 2.
I
So
don't know.
But he was already, like, by the time Gen 2 came out,
He was already the
He was
one.
you make a
already
good
Mickey
point. But
Mouse.
you, like, look at it from Nintendo's perspective, where it's like everyone loves Pikachu. They don't love Raichu. They must love Pikachu because he's smaller and cuter.
Let's make it
Let's
smaller.
give a smaller, cuter Pikachu. And they're like, oh, don't they like him as much? Great. We know we'll stick with this little
from
model
now
right
on,
here.
no more, just the same thing over and over.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm more inclined to say that Raichu exists so that Pikachu can not want to evolve. I think
Interesting.
that's the plan with Raichu. I think he's alluring and he has sort of like a grown up look about him. And I think that he just is there to like give Pikachu like an artistic reason.
Real talk, I would choose Raichu over Pikachu any day.
Yeah.
He's better.
I love him.
Yeah. Light Ball
He's great.
evens the odds a little bit, but I still like Raichu better.
What was the other part of that question? It was like a
Do you
two-pronged
think
question.
an evolved Pachirisu, Emolga, Dedenne, etc. will be worth seeing in the future?
Worth seeing?
Depends on what the deal is.
I don't think we need him.
Depends on what the deal is.
I don't think we need them either.
Like if they went through and turns out Gen 7 is another gen like Gen 4 where we got a lot of like extra boys,
Right.
like extra evolutions and stuff. Great. I wouldn't be against it. But like, do I think it needs it? No. But like, if it's an interesting mechanic or an interesting direction to take, and it's not just another Raichu, I'm fine. I would love to
Right.
see that.
Right. Instead of that, they need to like focus on linking the things that should be linked, like Alomola and Love Disc.
Right.
Please link that up, please. For the love of Christ. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It feels like a hangnail, you know?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, the Lore Seeker. That was a good email. Here's another one from Jordan. Subject heading is from one beard bro to another. What's up, guys? So I've been watching a lot of what I want from Gen 7 videos, and the topic of HMs comes up quite a bit. I had a realization, immediately hoped that I was the first person to ever think of this. What if each Pokemon just knew the HM moves inherently? I mean, come on, you can't tell me that if I have a Lapras, I have to teach the thing how to let me ride on it. It would just already know how to do that. Or a Scyther, a Pokemon with freaking blade hands, needs to be taught Cut. So just make it to where you see a Pokemon's known skills after you catch it. Make obvious ones like Scyther with Cut show up all the time in the wild, but mix it up to where you can randomly get one that may know how to fly as well. Or add more skills with evolving, like Dewott would know Surf inherently, but upon evolving can now use Strength too. They can even keep the moves teachable as battle moves just in case you wanted to run something like Surf or Waterfall. This way you can have 6 well-rounded Pokemon instead of 4 to 5 good ones and a couple HM whores. It would clear up a lot of everyone's HM complaints and add another layer to your hunt for the best companion team. Sorry for the long email, but now hashtag discussment time. Later, man. Jordan.
I feel like that's a lateral move, if anything, because like instead of being like, I better have one dude on my team to like be a slave. Now it's like
I better have
a Scyther so I can move through the game.
I think what he's saying is like if all the Pokemon had like
An
a
inherent
large
HM
amount
that
of
it could
abilities that
know.
they could do.
Then what's the point? Then just get rid of it.
I think I want it to be gone. I want it to be like the Eon Flute was a good step forward. I think that it would be better. I think it would be better if you didn't have to like play the flight just because it like takes time. But like the fact that I don't need to have a Pokemon with fly in my party to get around the world quickly is good.
I mean, I get that there are, I feel like HMs, or rather the things that required HMs did 2 things in previous generations. And correct me if I'm wrong. They gated you and they provided puzzles. And I feel like both of those things can be done in more creative ways that don't require move slots.
Well, just do it the way that they gate you already. What's the main way that they gate you in the whole game?
They put drunk old men in front of paths.
No, the gym badges, right?
Right.
The gym badges grant you abilities already. Why don't they just say, all right, now you can cut bushes. Here's my machete.
Now your Pokemon in general can. Here's my machete.
Yeah, I'm the grass type.
How old are you? 10? Great.
I'm the grass type trainer. Here's my machete. Oh, here's a hang glider. You need this? Great. Like, whatever.
Or like, yeah, now that you own the leaf badge, which I'm sure is already a thing.
Yeah.
All your Pokemon have like cutting edges to their moves. And the way that handles it lore wise is like now they can cut through like stuff like trees. But the way it handles mechanically is like now all your Pokemon have like a little bit more attack, which they already do, right? Like when you beat certain gym leaders, like now your dudes are a little bit buffer, right?
Yeah, I don't know if that's still the case, but that was definitely the case at one point.
Yeah, just gym medals. That'd be great.
Stuff like that. Yeah. I don't think this is a bad idea. I think it's a good step. Like, I think it's a good way of thinking about it. But I think, yeah, I'd rather it just be not like move slot based.
Turn all the current HMs into TMs, and we're good to go.
Turn them into TMs. Give me some items that replace them. Great. Thank you for that email, Jordan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beard Bro.
Yeah. Let's see. That one's too long. That one. No, this one's okay. Okay. This one is from Pete. Hey, it's called Pokemon Go. Hey, Alex, Jimmy, Pokekel's impossible guest.
Hey, that's me.
Right on one account. I'm a longtime fan of your YouTube show, and when I discovered the podcast almost a year ago, I listened to all the ones I'd missed. I'd keep gushing about the work you guys do, but I don't want this email to be legitimately too long. In answer to an old question about microtransaction in Pokemon games, I would like it if you could purchase event legendaries. I skipped Gen 5, so Victini, Keldeo, Meloetta, and Genesect will always be elusive to me. I also live in the UK, where we still haven't had a Hoopa event. I'm also sure that we never had any way of getting Jirachi. But on that note, Pokemon Go. This part is not for Pokekels, as she said to not kill her Pokemon Go hype. I'm skeptical about it. Since the red and blue version, in my case blue, it seemed like a dream come true, but with the app, I have 2 main fears. That it will be laden with microtransactions, I take 35 Ultra Balls to each legendary battle, which will make it not so fun, and that it will require too much exploration. I don't want to go to Norway or Canada to get myself a Mamoswine, hashtag best Pokemon. Okay, Kels can listen again. Thanks for reading my email, and thanks for a great show and podcast, Pete.
Oh, thanks, Pete. What a short email.
Roasted.
I don't think I look, this is the thing that we were saying before. These are like imaginary bad scenarios. They're not going to be like, nope, you can't go to Canada, so you're never going to win. Only people who can globetrot around the world can get all the Pokemon. I think that the fact that there's I think that the fact that there's trading, and I think that the fact that like it's Nintendo and the way that they handle microtransactions. Like, if you've played Pokemon Shuffle on the phone, I don't know if they do this on the 3DS app. Maybe they do. But like every time you load it up, it's like, hey, please remember that you don't have to spend money on this game to enjoy it. Like, and there's a max amount of money that you can spend on the game, period. And like, they really don't want you to spend money unless you really want to spend the money. Like, they want you to realize that you're spending money to save yourself effort. And I think that's the only time it's really useful to have microtransactions. Cosmetic items and things that save you time. That's all I want.
At the end of the day, I think Pete has valid concerns.
I do. I mean, they're valid, but it's just like inventing things that are going to be wrong with the game at this juncture is like throwing darts at nothing.
Nice. That was a good analogy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I agree with the both of you. These are valid concerns. They may or may not happen, but to like spend our time thinking about how the game could not be for you at this point is an exercise in futility. So we'll have to see what the game is like when it comes out, and if it's not for you or you or you, then it's not for you. A lot of, Pokemon Trose and the Battle Coliseum games are not for everybody.
Right. But also have some faith. Miyamoto is involved. Masuda is involved. The Pokemon Company in general is involved. They're developing the game. Like, this is unprecedented. This is not like, oh, we're slapping a Pokemon brand on some game that we're going to let some developer that has no idea what we're about get involved. This is the guy who invented the most well-loved game ever made and the most successful franchise ever, and Google working together to make a Pokemon thing. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you, man.
So
doomed.
let's just be optimistic. Let's just be optimistic, because there's no reason to be negative about something that we don't have any answers about.
It feels so much better to do that too.
Yeah.
In your heart.
Good call.
All right, let's see.
Thanks, Pete.
That's a long email. Oh, okay. This is good. Fancers is the headline of this email. Call me Robinson, a 14-year-old casual Pokemon fan. What would be your gameplay mechanic in an open-world MMO Pokemon game? Mine would be a scalebound-like action RPG with Pokken-like combat. That would be awesome. #LaterMan. #Hello Angelus. Angelus. #sorry long email.
What is he asking?
What would be your gameplay mechanic in an open-world MMO Pokemon
Like
game?
my favorite one?
Like, how would you do an open-world MMO Pokemon game?
Oh. The way I think everybody thinks it should be? Like, it seems pretty simple.
He's saying he wants it to be like an action RPG. Do you think that's wrong?
I want it to be like Ni no Kuni.
Oh, yeah. That was great.
That's like perfect. So
I'm not
conducive to
familiar.
Pokemon.
Hit me up.
In Ni no Kuni, you're like the boy, but then you have like these little like monster guys that like you can attack yourself, but then you can also like throw out your little monster to like go do an attack and then like fall back and then like dodge
Okay.
and stuff. So, but it's all like, it's been a long time since I played it, but it's all like, it was just really smooth, and it just really reminded me of like, oh, Pokemon could totally work like this.
You guys make a good point. At first I thought like, yeah, just do the games we all know and love. But making it into an action RPG where you control things in real time, I'd totally be down with that too. That sounds like fun. That would be a whole new bag of worms that you'd have to like balance in. But ultimately, if they're doing a Pokemon MMO, like, it's already brand new. It's already the end of the world at that point.
Yeah.
That's how you know that the end times have come.
Great. Thank you for that email. This one is from Dylan. It's titled SGC. Hey guys, meeting y'all at SGC over the summer was the main reason I even wanted to go. Alex, the 5 minutes I talked to you was crazy awesome. And talking to Jimmy Friday night about the mini decks and watching him dance like a Russian was a highlight of my weekend for sure. Kels, I only met you briefly, but you were so kind.
Aww.
Honestly, y'all are the absolute best. Thank you for what you do. # sorry for the long email. Just so that Brett doesn't think everyone's crazy. That's a bit that everybody does on this.
Is the sorry for the long email.
Everybody apologize for the length of
got
email.
it. Thank you.
I don't know why, but it's a thing.
I was like, geez, kids today like don't have tolerance for more than 3 sentences. Wow.
I always thought that it was just because people like when they spend the time to write something, they're like, wow, I really wrote a lot, but it's like two paragraphs. As somebody, like, I was an English major in college, and I'd read like 7 books in a week and write like 3 like 5-page essays.
Right.
It's just funny. But thank you for that. That's really nice of you to say.
Yeah. So nice.
Guys have fans. That's great.
Okay. We got another email from it's only credited as that guy who emails after almost every podcast episode. Discussment, Clefairy probably would hinder Pokemon. Hey, DexCast peeps, Backpacker Patrick here, just to throw my 2 cents or 2 Poké coins on the subject of Clefairy being the mascot of the series over Pikachu. I am sure it would hinder the series quite a bit outside of Japan. Main reason being Pikachu accidentally hit so many good selling points as a Pokemon, a mascot, and so forth. The design, the colors, the name. Pikachu works and helped nail it in that Pokemon is a real amazing new franchise for kids to get into in 1998. The games are rock solid, but for American audiences at the time, if the main focus was some weird Kirby-looking thing, it would put the series in a very different light, mainly the show and anime. Some pink creature would point to, it's a thing for girls, right? But the main kid is a boy? It would confuse people, and more so the localizers. It would probably end up making 4 kids at the time spin it for what they could find fit. At the time, spin it for what they find fit. Ash could be the same old Ash in Japan, but in US, they would probably change it to that Ash is a tomboy girl and make it a running gag that Clefairy is a girl cutesy Pokemon and Femme Ash wants to be more of a boyish cool kid. Long rant short, don't underestimate the power of a mascot or the main focus, even if it's for a game's show spin-off. Personally, I like Clefairy, but I'll admit the thing isn't appealing, and if that was the mascot Pokemon, many people would have scoffed at the series and said, oh, Japan, you and your weird franchises. The name alone is Clefairy. People would assume the franchise is more so a D&D sort of a deal with a name like that. Pokemon would probably still sell like crazy because of the time it came out, but wouldn't have become the massive craze that we know it is today. That's my thoughts. Sorry for however long this is. I can't tell. I typed it on my phone. That guy who emails after almost every podcast episode.
Drop
was having
bombs, that guy.
Brett was having some violent arm-based reactions over here. He was gesticulating wildly.
It's just like, while I may agree with some of the basic stuff this guy is getting at, more so I think it's an interesting discussion to have. I wish I could have been around here for that one. But I think it's worth discussing. The fact that this guy is like, absolutely, that Pokemon would have gone nowhere without Clefairy. Like, that's what I'm having trouble with. Like, I think he's making a lot of leaps in logic. And to be like, Pikachu is better all around, the design. And I'm like, first of all, I don't think there's anything wrong with Pikachu's design. I don't think there's anything wrong with Clefairy's design. Whether one of them is more accessible or more likable in general is so hard to say because we have to look back through 20 years of Pikachu haze and bias and nostalgia.
He does have a point that Clefairy is feminine looking.
Sure.
In a way that is like very, very like, almost like My Little Pony.
Right.
Which
but this is
definitely
also
Pikachu
the
doesn't
same
have.
series where there's dragons flying around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, why didn't
it's not like Pikachu is so masculine that I feel like this argument holds weight. Pikachu is gender neutral enough so that I don't believe that the series would have been hindered that much just because Clefairy is so feminine.
Yeah, I was saying last week that like who's to say that Clefairy would be characterized the way that Clefairy is characterized now?
Precisely.
If Clefairy was the main character.
Exactly. If Clefairy were the main character, there's no way that it would have been the exact same type of creature that we know and love.
That said, thank you for that email. I think it's fairly certain. I think I'm very willing to say that Pokemon would have been different by a lot if Clefairy was there. I just don't know if I'm ready to say how.
Is Pikachu a better mascot? I think so, probably.
I think so in the way that the way that Mickey Mouse works for people, which is what I was saying last time, which is that like he has like this sort of like quality about him that makes people relate to him in a way.
Yeah, people look at Clefairy and like, I don't know what that is. People look at Pikachu and go, oh, that's a mouse.
Yeah, like that's
I know that much.
That's like some kind of mouse something or other.
Clefairy's powers are like, what's it doing with its fingers?
Yeah, it's like a mouse or a rabbit.
Right, what is that? Pikachu's like, oh, did that lightning just come out of that dude's cheeks? Great, I know exactly what this thing is.
Yeah.
You know?
Where does it come out? Oh, right there and there? Got it.
As opposed to
The two big red dots.
fingers. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but thank you, man, for that email, Patrick.
Good discussion.
This next email is from Dylan. The subject heading is Clefancers. Hey, DexCast, I've been a fan since episode 24 on Flygon. Hard to believe it's already been over 2 years, but anyway, on to the Fancer. I was thinking a lot about how having Clefairy as a mascot would be weird because just think about how it would battle in the anime. I mean, it's easy with Pikachu, just use the various electric attacks, but how would Clefairy fight? Just double slap and sing?
There it is.
And also, would he be in Super Smash Bros. As well? How do you guys think that would work? And since Alex is getting into VGC, he may know that Clefairy is actually very good in that format with Eviolite Bulk, Follow Me with Minimize if you want to be that guy, and the big kicker and what differentiates it from Clefable, access to the ability Friend Guard, which reduces damage to your partner Pokemon by 25%.
Nice.
Just imagine having the mascot of Pokemon being a bit being a big threat in the competitive format. How hype would that be?
That would be
anyway,
cool.
that's just my rambling. Sorry for the 179 word email. Dylan.
He's making some good points, but ultimately,
It's like what we just said. Pretty
it's
much.
exactly what we just said, except that he's under the assumption that if Clefairy were the mascot, that he would be mechanically the same, which I don't think is the case.
I think that it would still be like a fairy and not like, I don't think it would like shoot electricity out of its cheeks or
No,
something.
it wouldn't. It wouldn't
Yeah.
just be Pikachu.
But we don't know if it would all be all like metronome wagging fingers and
Yeah, and it
from
might
the
be
moon.
like a Miss Piggy vibe of it, you know, like kind of like a mean, kind of sassy deal, you know, like who knows what characterization, because
or what moves.
yeah, the
even.
way Clefairy stands right now is it's like ditzy and like floaty, but like, you know, if it was the main character, maybe it would like flip and like punch and kick.
Exactly.
And like part of the bit would be that it's like a little fat puff that like kicks butt. You know what I mean?
Jigglypuff. You're describing Jigglypuff.
Oh, right. Gotta go. Let's do a couple
If
more.
Clefairy were the main character, Jigglypuff would not be in Smash.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh, absolutely.
Ooh, yeah.
But
All
the
right.
question is, wait, hold on. If Clefairy were the main character, Jigglypuff would not be in Smash. True. But then who would be taking Pikachu's slot?
Clefairy would be taking Pikachu's slot.
So then who's taking Jigglypuff's spot in Smash?
Scyther?
Done.
Mew.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Thank you for that email. This next one is from Luke. Pokemon in real life? Like for real? Yup. Knowledgeable Pokemon trainers from across the pond. It's me, British trainer Luke. No, not that British Luke. Here to inform you of my ideas that will likely never happen. Hashtag but I can dream. Hashtag hope as always.
Yes.
So, the revelation of Pokemon Go hitting mobile devices in 2016 promising Pokemon in real life has had me almost in tears with the nostalgia explosion of a trailer they released. However, judging the gameplay shots at the end of the trailer, the actual game may leave something to be desired. However, it is the 21st century and we can fix these problems with technology, of course. So I pose to you my new game idea, Pokemon Go 2, but for real this time. Pokemon Go 2 would
talking
be
about sequels.
Right?
Pokemon Go 2 would be released on Google Glass, Microsoft HoloLens, and every other augmented reality device worth knowing about, and would allow would-be trainers to hunt for Pokemon in their area through their very own eyes. The game would use a combination of Google Maps and room sensing technology to create a real-life game world to catch, train, battle, and trade in-game, and allow trainers to transfer the caught Pokemon to their Gen 7 game available for the Nintendo 4DS. In
4DS.
addition, the game would allow you to do the opposite and send Pokemon from said Gen 7 game to it so you could care, play, and interact with the Pokemon you've bonded with from your game, and yes, they could walk behind you. What are your thoughts on this idea? What are your thoughts on Pokemon expanding onto yet more platforms? Thank you so much for reading my email. Until next time, ta-ra!
Great ideas. All around.
I mean,
I
yeah.
think it'd be awesome if there was some integration with Google Glass.
I'm fairly certain that like pretty much everything that you're saying here is going to be integrated into the Pokemon Go that we're going to see. Like it sounds like exactly what they pitched to us in that trailer. I think that, like we said, we saw no actual gameplay in that trailer, so it's a little bit early to say whether or not the game looks like anything. But I think that we are going to get game, Gen 7 compatibility. I think we're going to get the ability to look into augmented reality and see the Pokemon walking around. I don't know about the Pokemon following you around. That's kind of interesting, though. But
That would be cool. No, think about it. Like every time you turn around, it's just there behind you.
yeah, I mean that's great. It's just like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's gonna be in the game. I can't like say, yeah, they're gonna do that.
Right.
But yeah, thank you. I think that's great. What are your thoughts on Pokemon expanding into yet more platforms? I'm excited to see it go onto the phone. I'm excited to see it. I don't know where else I'd want to see it.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't want to see it on PS4.
Yeah, that would be the day the world ends.
I would love to see like a console game that's like that works a lot more like the portable games.
Oh boy.
I would love to see them try that at least. I feel like they haven't given it a fair shake yet.
Because they don't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I would love to see like, even if that game never came out, I would just love to see like a pitch from them about what that game would be. I
Agreed.
would love to like see where their head is at on that.
It would be what that guy sent in one of the other emails. That'd be very cool.
Yeah. Thank you for that email, Luke. Let's do one more.
yeah.
How's that? All right, great. This one is from. Huh?
Who's that?
Oh no, sorry. My Gmail just had a
Had a hiccup?
Yeah. Okay. So this is from Joe from England. Megas. I don't know. Hey guys, it's Joe from Birmingham, England here. Love all the stuff you do individually and everything here on the decks too. Been sub since day one, so I'm kind of like one of those OG listener watchers. Sidebar,
Right.
I think we should get a hashtag or a medal or something, but I'll leave that to your digression. Discretion, I think he means. With all that out of the way, I would like to talk about megas. Ever since the introduction, I did not like the idea. I would have much preferred Pokemon like Manectric and Bennett got regular evolutions instead of megas. I understand that when your cast of characters reaches over 700, you have to start thinking about the franchise's future, but still this far on, it doesn't sit right with me knowing that next-gen Pokemon that I've waited so long to get that next step will probably get capped off with a mega with a gimmick. How do you guys feel? Am I just weird, or do you think it's just the natural progression of Pokemon? Sorry for the just falling short of a long email. British. Oh, Joe from England. British monarch sounding music plays here.
Oh, yes.
Are megas the future, or are they a fluke?
Great. I like megas. I've always been very enthusiastic about them. I think that their designs are overly designed on purpose. I think I like the idea that they're temporarily megas and not like always megas. And I think it's a great addition to the battle mechanics in the games. Would I like to still see Pokemon that exist now get evolutions? Some. I'm not against that at all. I would love to see that. Do I think that they need it? No. I think that pretty much every Pokemon that I've ever seen is well designed and complete. So am I happy to see more mega evolutions from Pokemon that I've been waiting to evolve? It's not really a scenario that I'm in, but I like the idea of seeing more mega evolutions. I will say yes to more mega evolutions all the time.
I think I was with you at first when Megas started to come out. I was like, why do we need these? But like the more I saw of them, the more I like kind of liked them. And now like Mega Ampharos is like the cutest.
I just love that it's like not
I
permanent.
think it's cool. Yeah, I think it's cool after a point. Yeah, I definitely was on your train, and then I like they grew on me, and now I like them a lot.
I'm gonna have to sit on that train for a while longer. I think megas are okay, but ultimately, almost every time I see one, I'm like, should have just been an evolution, man. The only thing that I'm like that I think it does very, very well is how it shifts battling.
Yeah, I think
love
that's
that.
the best thing about them.
But that's like one pro versus a couple cons that I have, you know?
I like the over-designed aspect of them because you don't have to have that Pokemon in your party now.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like something like Mega Gardevoir, for example, or Mega Garchomp, just becoming this like insane monster. Like I love that it's like almost like Goku or something where it's just like he just like goes like ah! And
Yeah,
he's
that's
like,
a very cool thing, and it shifts up the battling meta a bit, and I'm like, that's really cool. But ultimately, almost every time I see one, I'm like, man, Bennett? I'm like, dude, you just should have evolved. You needed it.
Yo, that Pokemon though, the Mega mechanic, like the need for that mechanic outweighs the like need. It could have been any Pokemon. You know what I mean?
What? What do you mean?
The idea of a Mega with Prankster that has the moves that Bennett has is more what I like about Mega Bennett than that it's Bennett. It could have been,
But there's Bennett fans out there. You know what I mean?
It could have been Mega Spiritomb. Like I don't care. Like I don't care what it is. Like I don't think that Bennett needs an evolution. Like were you waiting for an evolution of Bennett?
Of course not. But I'm not. I mean, but I'm not everybody. There's Bennett fans out there who are like, please give me something, and I'm sure they were pretty
got
stoked about
Mega.
exactly. But I'm sure there was others, like an even smaller sect of those Bennett fans who were like, I wanted a Bennett evolution.
Those are the same people who hate the graphics on Pokemon Go.
Oh, come on, don't lump them all into one group together. Like, look, like, and there's Mawile fans and stuff like that.
Oh,
Look,
I love Mawile.
Look,
I
I want
love
real
Mawile.
talk. I'm gonna talk to you from personal experience, or from a personal perspective, rather.
Sure.
I'm one of those people who I love the collecting aspect. And I'm not one of those people that's like, man, they added 100 more. I'm like, they added 100 more. You know, like I love
Right.
it. It's not for everybody, but who cares? So when in lieu of actual new Pokemon, they're coming with Megas, I'm a little
Did
bit
they?
like. Well, I mean, look at the evidence here, man. We got a slew of new Megas,
In a
only
remake.
about half of the new Pokemon we usually get per gen.
I'm gonna reserve like my judgment on that until we are finished with this gen, because I still hold out hope that there's gonna be more Pokemon this gen. But I mean, at this point, I don't know, like it doesn't seem like it too much now, because they'd probably be teasing him by now, unless there's like an announcement and the game comes out in like June or something like that, like, or the game comes out in like October, then it makes sense why we haven't seen any yet. But like,
Right. Megas are cool.
I don't think we're ever going to not get new Pokemon. And I think the only reason that we got more new Megas and not more Pokemon this last time around was just because we're in
Megas
Oros.
were new.
No, just because we're in Oros.
Oh, okay.
I think they just didn't add that many Pokemon because they were like, we're adding a new type. Let's just chill. Let's just like try and like make this as good and as clean as we can. And all the Pokemon they added to the game are like really, like they all have like a niche and a use, and you see a lot of them in battle. And I'm happy with that. Does
I
that
hear
make
you.
sense?
I hear you.
Yeah.
Like they didn't introduce like 60 Pokemon that just you're gonna catch and then just leave in a box.
That's what I did.
Yeah, yeah.
Life in a box.
But like all the Gen 6 Pokemon are really cool. All the like starters are really cool. I don't know. Anything else anybody want to say about this?
Sounds good to me.
Looks like we're wrapped for yet another week of the Dex podcast. Brett, thank you for coming on.
Hey, my pleasure.
That
Hot
was
sandwiches.
cool stuff.
Yeah, it
Guys,
was super fun.
Get ready to watch me and Brett tear through some people on the internet in Victory Road coming soon. It's not going to replace anything. It's just going to be a new show that's on our channel.
Look at that. It's gonna be
Exciting,
tight. It
exciting.
should be
Get
fun.
hype.
Yeah, so get hyped for that. And if you like this show and you want to help us keep the lights on, why not head over to patreon.com/thatonevideogamer. It's less than a cheeseburger a week. You can go on there. You can pay a little bit of money to us. You can say, yeah, you know what? Every time you guys put something out, which is once a week, we don't charge you for every video we put out, just for the decks. Every time you guys put something out, I'll toss you a couple bucks for it. You know what I mean? I'm watching it. I might as well toss you a few bucks. And that's going to support us, and it's going to get you some cool incentives too. Like we put our $3 people, like the $3 level goes into the credits of the show as people who support the show. For $1, there's like streams. And the thing that's good about our Patreon is that it's actually shared with the completionist. So you're actually helping out not just the decks, but also the completionist and Super Beard Bros. And so you get those like Gerard related rewards as well. So
Right.
you get like double the rewards for the price that you'd normally be paying on a one reward Patreon. So check it out. Seriously, it's really cool stuff. But if that's it, I'm Alex.
I'm Pokekels.
Hey, this was Brett.
And we'll see you next week, guys. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Later, man.